Mrs. Mastronardi here. Today we're going to get into our second project in Scratch, create abstract art with Scratch.
Hello everyone, this is Anna from CodeArt, and today I'll be teaching you how to create abstract art with code. Here's what our project will look like when it's finished. So first we're going to open up Scratch. Go to scratch.mit.edu. Scratch is a program that lets you code using drag and drop blocks. If you don't have an account on Scratch, please pause the video and make one now. Then press the Create button to create a new project. Alright, let's jump in. Your screen should look like this. Let's explore the Create screen. At the top, there is a box that says Untitled 5. For you, it may say Untitled 1. This is where you type the name of your project. Let's type a name like Abstract Art. You don't need to worry about saving your project. It will save automatically as long as you have an internet connection. There are three main sections of the screen. The area on the left has our resources, including the coding blocks that we can use. The middle area is the working area, where our code will go and where we will create things. The right area is our stage, where your creations will display. Right now, there is a cat on a white stage. The cat is an example of what is called a sprite. Sprites are typically characters and objects. After we create a sprite, we can write code to tell the sprite what to do. We can tell our sprite to move, talk, or do a crazy dance, among other things. This stage is the background white area. The stage does not have to be white. Later, we can change it to a different color or background. The stage acts as a canvas that we can write code to draw art onto. So we want to draw a bunch of lines on the screen. We are going to need a sprite to draw the lines, so let's make a new sprite. In the bottom right corner of the screen, mouse over the little blue cat and click on a paintbrush that pops up. This will let us draw a new sprite. Even though we want our sprite to draw lines, we don't want the sprite to be visible. If our sprite is invisible, it will look like the lines are drawing themselves, which will look super cool. So leave the canvas blank for this sprite. The sprite will be completely invisible, but it can still draw on the screen. In the top left corner of your screen, you should see three tabs: Code, Costumes, and Sounds. Right now, we're in the Costumes tab. This lets you change the appearance of your sprites. Let's click now on the Code tab, where we can add code to make our sprite move and draw. Every sprite has different code associated with it. Right now, we only have one sprite, so this shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, so far we have gone down here to the cat, clicked on the brush, created a new sprite. All right, and now we're going to come over here on top in the tabs to click on code.
But if you make a new sprite, you'll have to add new code to it. Okay, so we're in the Code tab. The first thing we need is an events block. What will the player do to trigger this sprite's code? In the menu on the left, select the yellow Events circle. All the events blocks will show up. For the most part, they start with when. So we could have our sprite start drawing when the green flag is clicked, or when this sprite is clicked, or when the space key is pressed, for example. In this project, we are going to start drawing when the space key is pressed. Drag the when space key pressed block into your coding workspace. Now
Okay, so come over here to the gold events blocks, click on that circle, and find when space key is pressed and drag it and drop it on the screen.
it's time to add some action to this sprite. To do this project, we are going to need some special coding blocks called pen blocks. We will use the pen blocks to draw the lines in our abstract art. They aren't available right now, so we need to add a coding extension. This sounds complicated, but Scratch makes it super easy. Just go back to the menu bar on the left and mouse over the blue button at the very bottom. This is the Add Extension button. Click it and you'll open up a list of different extensions you can add. The second one on the list is called Pen, which lets you draw with your sprites. Go ahead and click on the Pen extension and Scratch will automatically add it into your project.
Okay, so now we're going to come down here to the blue extensions, click on it, and here's a bunch of different extensions, but we're going to pick pens. And then here they are added into our choices.
Project. Perfect. Now you'll see the pen category on the bar on the left. Click it to look at all the pen blocks. Here's how the pen extension works. Imagine that every sprite has a pen attached to it. When the pen is up or raised, the sprite can move around freely without leaving a trail. The pen is not touching the page. When the pen is down or lowered, then everywhere the sprite goes, it will leave behind a trail. When the sprite walks around, the pen drags along the page and leaves a mark. Since we want to draw lines on our screen, we want our sprite to leave a mark on the page wherever it moves. So the first block we're going to add is Pen Down. This lowers the sprite's pen so that every time it moves, the pen will draw a trail. Drag a Pen Down block right underneath the When Space Key Pressed block. It will snap into place. Now,
okay, so take a minute and do that. You're going to find When Pen Down, and drag it over and click it under spacebar. Okay.
Now whenever you press the space key, your sprite will put its pen down. We want our program to generate new abstract artwork every time, so we're going to need everything to be random. Let's first choose a random color for the brushstroke. Look at the pen blocks and drag the Set Pen Color to 50 block onto your workspace. There are two Set Pen Color to blocks, so you need to be careful. Choose the one that has a number at the end, not a colored rectangle. Drag the
Okay, so let's find that. Set pen color to and drop that over there.
block so that it snaps in underneath your pen down block. Now, instead of setting the color to 50, we want to set the color to something random. The random block is in the operators category. Locate the green operators category and drag a Pick Random 1 to 10 block into your workspace. This is not a normal block. As you can see,
okay, pick random under operators. Okay, so find operators here on the side. It's this green one. Pick random. Okay.
it's not shaped like a puzzle piece and it won't snap in line with your other blocks. That's because the random block doesn't represent an action, it represents a number. Click and drag the random block on top of the circle that says 50 on your Set Pen Color to block. If your mouse is in the right place, the circle with the 50 in it should have a glowing white outline. Once you see the white outline, let go of the random block and it should replace the 50 inside of the Set Pen Color to block. The Set Pen Color to block is a function or an action, and the random block is a parameter of the function. A parameter is a number or value that helps make the function more specific. For example, Set Pen Color to is a nice function, but the computer won't know what color to choose unless you provide a parameter that specifies the color. So this random block is a parameter that tells the computer which color to set the pen color to. Since we're using the random block, the color specified will be different every time we run the program. Now, we don't just want to pick a random number from 1 to 10. We can actually set the pen color to anything from the value 0 to the value 99. How can numbers be colors, though? Well, 0 represents red, and as the numbers increase, the colors shift across the rainbow. Let's use the whole rainbow for our abstract painting. Change the numbers in Pick Random 1 to 10 so that it says Pick Random 0 to 99. To change a number, just double-click on the white circle and type in a new number. All right, looking good so far. Now let's just choose a random pen size.
Okay, so let's do that. Double click, and it's going to say 0 to 99.
And then we can start moving around our sprite to draw lines. I know we have no visible results yet, but we'll get there soon. Go back to the pen category using the menu bar on the left, and drag the Set Pen Size To block into the workspace. Snap it into place under the Set Pen Color To block. Now, again, we want the thickness to be random, so let's go back to the Green Operators category and drag a Pick Random block into the workspace. Now drag the random block onto the Set Pen Size block as a parameter. Make sure it snaps into place, like this.
Okay, so we're going to go to Pens, Set Pen Size, and then we're going to go to the Green Operators category and pick Random.
You can choose whatever range of numbers you'd like for the thickness. I'll choose a random number between 5 and 15. Okay, now it's time to move.
Okay, so now you're going to change the number here. Click in the white box from 5 to 15.
Around and draw some lines. In the menu on the left, open up the Blue Motion category. Now drag the Move 10 Steps block into your workspace and snap it onto the bottom of your code. As you may imagine, this tells our sprite to move forward 10 steps in whatever direction it's facing. But we want
Okay. Move 10 steps under the Motion category.
our lines to be random. Pause the video here and drag in a random block so that your sprite moves a random number of steps between 30 and 70.
Okay.
Awesome, looking good. There's one.
Okay, so here you see it's a blue code. So you're looking in the motion blocks, which are blue, and then pick random 30 to 70, which are in the operators category. So come up here and let's look for move. Whoops. How do you have that? Oh, these things happen. Okay, go to the operators category. Pick random 1 to 10 steps.
One last thing we should do before we take a look at how our project is going so far. We are going to need to delete the orange cat that is in the middle of our screen. An orange cat doesn't really belong in abstract art, does it? Navigate to the bottom right corner of your screen where you see a list of all the sprites in your program. Click on the cat labeled Sprite 1 and then mouse over to the blue X in the top right corner. Click the X and the sprite will be deleted. Awesome. Now we're ready to test out our.
Okay, so now we are gonna go to the cat sprite, click the blue X. Okay, and then that's my bad there. All right, here we go.
Program. Press the green flag button right here to start the program, and then press the spacebar a bunch of times. You should see a line start to form of varied thickness and color. We don't just want one straight line though. We want squiggles in all directions. So we
press the green flag and then press the space bar. And you can see that it starts to draw. And I already see what I did, that I didn't change this number from 30 to 70, I think she said. So make sure that you did that as well.
Drag the set pen color to between 30 and 70. Awesome, looking good. There's one last thing we should do before we take a look at how our project is going so far. We are going to need to delete the orange cat that is in the middle of our screen. An orange cat doesn't really belong in abstract art, does it? Navigate to the bottom right corner of your screen where you see a list of all the sprites in your program. Click on the cat, labeled Sprite 1, and then mouse over to the blue X in the top right corner. Click the X, and the sprite will be deleted. Awesome. Now we're ready to test out our program. Press the green flag button right here to start the program, and then press the spacebar a bunch of times. You should see a line start to form of varied thickness and color. We don't just want one straight line though. We want squiggles in all directions. So we need our sprite to change where it's facing. To do this, go back to the blue motion category and drag a turn 15 degrees block into your code. You can choose to turn clockwise or counterclockwise. That's a style choice, and it's up to you. Now, again, we want to turn a random number of degrees. Turning 15 degrees every time would get boring. So pause the video here and change your code so that you turn a random number of degrees from 1 degree to 90 degrees. Looking good. Click the green flag.
Okay, so we're going to bring in a blue move block and a blue turn, pick random. All right, so we have move, pick random, and now we need turn. And we need a green operator, pick random. And I don't remember the number of degrees she said, so, all right, let's double check that. 1 to 90, okay.
Flag, and then press the spacebar a bunch of times to see how your project looks. Very exciting so far. The only problem is that you have to press the spacebar over and over again to generate your art. What if the art generated itself?
Okay, so let's click the green flag, press the spacebar, and now you can see that it is picking a random number of degrees to turn.
To do that, we're going to need to add a loop. Loops let you repeat code easily. Instead of having to copy-paste your code over and over again, you can put it into a loop that will run as many times as you want. 5 times, 27 times, or even infinitely. We want this artwork to keep generating forever, or at least until the program stops. To do this, we need a forever loop. Click on the orange control category in the menu on the left. Find the forever loop. See how it's like a container? We put the loop around certain blocks of code, and any code that's in the loop will run over and over again. So what code needs to go inside the forever loop? Well, we don't need to keep putting the pen down over and over again. Once we put the pen down once, it will stay down until we use a pen up block. So our forever loop should surround all of our blocks after the pen down block. Click and drag your forever loop onto the workspace. When you hold it over your code, a shadow will appear that demonstrates which blocks your loop will contain if you place it in that exact location. Make sure the shadow matches mine. It should surround all the blocks except for the pen down block. Then drop it. Awesome! Now our code is in a forever loop. The art will continue to generate until we stop the program.
Okay, so let's do that. We're going to go back over here and find a forever loop, which are the orange controls. And then we're going to drag it, bring it up under pen down, and wait until the shadow highlights all that code underneath there. Drop it, and there you go. All right, so now, well, when we click the green flag, and then the space bar, our sprite keeps drawing. Pretty cool. All right, I'm going to stop it by clicking the flag.
Press the green flag, Press the spacebar, and watch your art grow. Notice that most blocks have grooves at the bottom that let you snap blocks underneath them. Forever loops do not have this groove. That's because you can't put any blocks after a forever loop. The forever loop runs forever. If the code was supposed to run after the forever loop ended, then the code would never run. If you want a loop to run a certain amount of times instead of forever, you can use a repeat loop. This is what a repeat loop looks like. No need to drag it into your code yourself. I just wanted to show you what it looked like. Okay, one last thing. Notice that if you run your program for a long time, it fills up the screen. It would be nice if every time we started the program, the screen turned blank and we could start a new piece of artwork. Let's add that. First, let's go to the Yellow Events category. Drag a When Green Flag Clicked block into the workspace. You don't need to attach this to any of your existing code. We're starting a new section of code. The first section of code runs when you press the spacebar. Our new section runs when you click the green flag. So let's clear our screen. Click on the Pen category and find the Erase All block. Snap it underneath the When Green Flag Clicked block. Awesome! Now every time we click the green flag to start the program, it will clear the canvas and then we can press the spacebar to start drawing. Congratulations!
Okay, let's try that. We're going to go back up here and find Events, When Flag Clicked, Green Flag Clicked. And then we need a pen block. So here's the pen on the left. And we need it to say Erase All. Okay. So when we click that, the screen erases. And then when you click the space bar, it begins to draw.
Congratulations! You've created your first art generator. Feel free to pause here and change the numbers in your random blocks to experiment and see how it affects your program. Let's take a look at our project page. At the center top of the screen, click the See Project Page button. This will open up a screen that displays your project the way other people will see it. Your project is on the left of the screen, and on the right you can add instructions, notes, and credits. We don't have any notes or credits to add right now, but it would be nice to tell your players how to use the art generator. Click on the instructions box and tell users to press the spacebar to begin the program. Awesome! Your art generator is done. Stick with me if you want to make it more complex. We're going to add more colors, and in the next video we'll add paint splats to go with our lines. Pause the video and take a quick stretch break before we move on.